It's strange how quiet the world becomes when you're the only one awake. When everyone else has gone home, lights are out, and all you hear is the low hum of fluorescent bulbs or the distant whine of a generator. Security guards know that silence better than anyone. And sometimes, in that silence, something else listens back. The first story happened to a man named Robert. He'd worked night shifts at a corporate office in Melbourne for 5 years, routine, lonely, but peaceful. The building was 20 stories high, mostly glass, surrounded by trees that looked almost black under the streetlights. Robert's shift started at 10 p.m. and ended at 6 in the morning. He liked it quiet, until that one night. It began just after 1 a.m. He was sitting in the control room, sipping lukewarm coffee, eyes flicking over the security monitors. 12 camera feeds, lobby, elevators, parking, corridors, rooftop. Everything looked normal. Then camera 7 flickered, just static for half a second, then back on. Nothing unusual, except there was now a shadow. On the 14th floor hallway. Robert frowned. That floor was locked after hours. He zoomed in, thinking maybe it was a reflection from the emergency light. But the shape was tall, human-shaped, standing completely still. He radioed upstairs. Control to floor 14, anyone there? Static replied. He leaned closer to the monitor. The figure hadn't moved. Then, slowly, it turned, its head twisting unnaturally, like it had heard him through the camera. Robert froze. For a second, he couldn't breathe. The face, it was pale, but the eyes were black voids, reflecting the faint hallway light. Then the feed cut out again. He felt his skin crawl as he switched to another angle. The hallway was empty. Robert grabbed his flashlight and keycard, trying to shake the unease crawling down his spine. He told himself it was a glitch, maybe a smudge on the lens. But his gut told him something wasn't right. The elevator creaked on his way up. When the doors opened, cold air rushed in like the floor had been left open to winter. He stepped out, light trembling in his hand. The hallway was silent. The carpet muffled his steps, but he could swear he heard faint breathing, just ahead. He turned the corner, and the air changed. The lights overhead flickered once, twice, then went dark completely. In that pitch black, the breathing got louder. Deep, raspy. Robert backed up, panic rising. He raised his flashlight and flicked it on. The beam caught the end of the hall. The figure was there again, standing motionless, closer this time. Its mouth was open, wide enough to tear its face in half. Robert screamed and bolted for the elevator. But the button didn't light up. Something pressed against the glass behind him, like a hand, leaving a wet smear. When the lights came back, the hallway was empty again. He didn't wait. He took the stairs all the way down and didn't stop until he reached the parking lot. The next morning, his supervisor reviewed the camera logs. There was no footage from the 14th floor between 1:07 and 1:23 a.m., a complete blackout. But one camera, facing the elevator, had caught something. A blurry frame, Robert leaving in a hurry, and behind him, a hand pressed against the inside of the elevator door, long fingers stretched, as if waving goodbye. Robert quit the next day. The second story happened in 2018, to a security guard named Leon. He worked at an abandoned shopping complex in Sydney, the kind of place that was once full of light and laughter but now sat dark and hollow, waiting to be demolished. His job was simple: make rounds every hour, check the doors, and ensure no squatters or vandals had broken in. The first week was fine. But the second week, the mall started to feel alive. He'd walk down the main concourse, and the automatic sliding doors at the end would open by themselves, even though there was no power. Sometimes he'd hear the faint echo of footsteps behind him, out of sync with his own. He'd spin around, flashlight cutting through dust and emptiness, but nothing was there. One night, around 3 a.m., he was in the old food court when he heard it, a child laughing. It came from the direction of the escalators. A clear, cheerful laugh that bounced off the tiled walls. Leon froze. He called out, "Hello? Is anyone there?" No answer. Just the hum of the old ventilation system. He followed the sound, step by step, his boots echoing. The escalators were motionless, dead for years, yet faint music drifted through the air, mall music. Tinny, distant, like an old radio barely catching a signal. Then he saw something move upstairs. Small, quick, a figure darting behind a broken display window. Leon climbed the steps slowly, flashlight raised. At the top, he found a small shoe. A child's shoe, pink, covered in dust. Then a whisper echoed, soft, right behind him. Can you help me find my mom? Leon turned fast, light flashing across the hall. No one, but when he looked back at the shoe, it was gone. He dropped his flashlight in shock. The beam rolled across the floor and caught something on the far wall, handprints. Tiny, dozens of them, smeared in dust, trailing toward the ceiling. Leon ran. He didn't care about his post, his report, anything. He ran all the way to the control booth and locked the door. His heart pounded as he watched the cameras. Nothing at first, but then, on camera 4, near the food court, a child appeared. A little girl in a white dress, barefoot, holding that same pink shoe. She looked directly at the camera, eyes black and hollow, and smiled. Then she waved. The screen went white for half a second, and when it came back, she was gone. Leon called his supervisor immediately, demanding backup. They found him the next morning, still in the booth, lights on, eyes wide open, mumbling, "She wanted me to follow her." The mall was demolished a month later. Workers said they found a small skeleton in one of the maintenance shafts, clutching a pink shoe. The third story happened just last year, and it's still whispered about among guards working late shifts. A man named Peter took a job at a remote industrial storage facility outside Perth. Isolated, surrounded by fields, the building stored everything from construction equipment to old archives. Peter liked solitude. He was ex-military, quiet, disciplined. But this place, it felt wrong from day one. The night air always seemed too still. Radios crackled with static for no reason. Even the animals avoided the property. His first encounter came on a Friday night. Around 2:45 a.m., the motion sensor alarm went off in Warehouse 3. Peter grabbed his flashlight and went to check. The warehouse was massive, rows of tall shelves filled with boxes and machinery. His footsteps echoed softly as he walked in. He scanned the aisles, nothing. But then the sound of something heavy dragging across concrete filled the air. Slow, deliberate. He followed it, heart beating hard. The noise led him to aisle 6. A large crate had been pulled into the open, though he hadn't touched it before. The label read, "Property of the Australian Defence Archive." He tried to radio it in, but the device only hissed with static. Curiosity got the better of him. He pried the crate open. Inside was a metal cylinder, about the size of a coffin, sealed with clamps. It was ice cold. A small viewing window showed darkness inside, but when he wiped it clean, he saw something, an eye. Staring back, Peter stumbled backward, flashlight shaking. The eye moved, blinked. Then a loud metallic bang echoed from inside. The cylinder, followed by a deep, guttural growl. He slammed the crate shut and backed away, sprinting for the door. But as he reached it, the lights cut out. Every bulb in the warehouse exploded, one by one, like popping glass fireworks. The dark swallowed him whole. Something heavy moved in the aisles. The floor trembled. Peter pressed against the wall, holding his breath. Whatever was inside that crate, it was out. He could hear it breathing, wet, ragged, and impossibly close. Then, silence. When the emergency lights flickered on, the aisles were empty. The crate lay on its side, open. Inside, just a pool of black liquid. The metal walls around it were bent outward, like something had clawed its way free. Peter made it back to the control room and locked the door. He tried calling for help, but the phone was dead. He pulled up the security cameras, hands trembling. Warehouse 3 showed nothing. Then, for a split second, a tall shape crossed the frame, too thin, moving too fast. It appeared again, closer to the camera this time. Pale, featureless, head tilted at an unnatural angle. Then it leaned in, face filling the screen, mouth stretching impossibly wide as the feed went black. When morning came, the day guard arrived to find the control room empty. Peter's radio was on the desk, still crackling faint static. The warehouse doors were wide open, claw marks etched into the concrete. They never found Peter. Authorities claimed it was an animal attack. But the staff who replaced him didn't stay long. One of them quit after a week, swearing he heard someone whisper his name over the intercom when the system wasn't even powered. And on some nights, the cameras still flicker, always in Warehouse 3. Just before they do, a faint shadow appears near the doorway, as if something tall is standing there, watching. 3 guards, 3 nights, 3 stories they never forgot. And maybe that's the curse of working alone in the dark. Sometimes the job isn't about protecting a building, it's about surviving what already lives inside it. So the next time you walk past an empty hallway or see a flicker on a security monitor, remember their stories. Because not every shadow is caused by light. Some shadows are waiting.